So this is a light strategy that fits anywhere you would be assigning text. It's just a reminder to instructors and that as teachers we want to be providing purposes and processes, or inviting students to suggest purposes and processes, but readers read with a purpose and a process in mind. And so we want to make sure that kids are in the habit of having that with them as readers. So for me, it's the difference between these three ways to assign a task that requires reading. The first just says what you're reading, read chapter 12. That doesn't imply why, and it doesn't imply how you might go about doing it. So if you didn't feel like doing it, there isn't a reason in the directions. And if you get stuck doing it, there's no help in the directions either. So in the second one, there's a slightly higher level of support because you know why you're reading it. It's not a particularly compelling reason. It's just this side of because I said so. If you read chapter 12 to answer the questions, at least you know you're reading in order to be able to answer questions, so you will try to keep track of certain things as you go. It's pretty vague though. You probably won't know what to be keeping track of, or whether you're reading in a way that's going to make you successful at the end, which might make it tough to begin because it's not very motivating if it doesn't seem like you know how to do it, and also might make it hard to persist if you get bored or reach a place of struggle when you're working with that text. So the third example, and this is what we're going for, includes both why you're reading it as specifically as possible and also a process for accomplishing that purpose. And this process doesn't have to be anything formal. It doesn't have to use technical language. It just has to be a description of one possible way that you could accomplish that purpose if you're not sure. And the goal here is to help students initiate reading activities, like just get started because they have an idea of how to get started. And for those that already know how to get started, one possible suggestion of how they could think about it if they get stuck, or if they just want to know one other way I could do this as a reader. So in this task parameter, we're setting both a purpose and a process by saying read chapter 12 in order to, here comes the purpose, find the mistake most first-time botanists make. So now as a reader, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to read in order to find that. I might be a sophisticated enough reader to already know exactly how to go about finding that information. I also might not have a clue. And so in the rest of this statement, we have a suggested process. So you're going to find the mistake most first-time botanists make by, here comes your process, asking yourself why some of the plants described in the passage fail to thrive. So now if I didn't know how to get started, I would know that I need to go looking for the part of the passage that describes the plants that didn't thrive, and then I need to read around there to figure out why the thing that most first-time botanists did that led to those plants not thriving. If, on the other hand, I had a pretty good idea of where to start and I'm a pretty strong and confident reader, I might read all the way through, and if I still can't answer that question, this little prompt will help me sort of talk myself through understanding why most first-time botanists sometimes make mistakes.